San Diego.
Well, I do want to say Happy New Year to everyone, if I haven't said that already to any of you. I want to welcome everyone to Project Ready, San Diego, Thursday Career Connections. There is so much going on in our country and globally right now. Many of our households continue to be impacted with COVID-19, distance learning, and loss of income and jobs and food insecurities. Please know that the Urban League of San Diego County is here for you and your families. Continue to read our updates that will include resources and tools that you can use and prepare for the journey of this year towards college and career readiness.
Oh, great.
To introduce our guests, please welcome Malia Rusum, who is a senior from Preuss School at UC San Diego. Malia.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to introduce our keynote speaker and moderator, Dr. Rashad Wilkerson. Dr. Rashad Wilkerson is a native of East Orange, New Jersey. He attended Xavier University of Louisiana, where he received his Bachelor's of Science in Biology in 1992. After working as a biochemical assistant at Merck Research Laboratories, he was granted entrance into the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine program at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine and graduated in 2003 with a doctorate in osteopathic medicine. In 2003, Dr. Wilkerson continued his medical training as an internal medicine intern at Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth. He was a general medical officer on the USS Kearsarge and subsequently completed internal medicine residency at Portsmouth Naval Hospital in 2008. As a staff internal medicine physician, Dr. Wilkerson was assigned to Guam Naval Hospital, during which time he was the chair of internal medicine and selected to be the Guam Naval Hospital Public Health Officer and the Infection Control Officer. Dr. Wilkerson advanced his medical training as a gastroenterology fellow at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He returned to Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth as a board-certified gastroenterologist and served as the Tidewater Regional Gastroenterology Product Line Leader, Department Head of Gastroenterology at Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, and the Associate Chair, Internal Medicine Department. Dr. Wilkerson is currently assigned to Naval Medicine Readiness and Training Center, San Diego, where he serves as the Associate Director, Medical Services Director, Combined Endoscopy Center. During his time in the Navy, Dr. Wilkerson has authored and presented case reports and research at the Navy's American College of Physicians Conference, Virginia American College of Physicians Conference, National Conference for the American College of Gastroenterology, and at the Digestive Disease Week International Conference. Our next guest speaker is Dr. Kelly Elmore. Dr. Kelly Elmore is a board-certified OBGYN, healthcare executive, and chief wellness officer for clients across the globe. While Dr. Elmore considers her practice Viva Life Health Hub in San Diego as her home, she travels the world and sees most of her private medical concierge patients virtually. After graduating summa cum laude with a Bachelor's of Science from the Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans, Dr. Elmore completed her medical degree at the University of Chicago Pritzker School of Medicine in Chicago on a full scholarship and residency in San Diego, California. Dr. Elmore also holds a Master's in Business Administration, which she completed while managing her full-time medical practice, as well as her business KOE Medical Consulting. Dr. Elmore is a high-energy and dynamic speaker who grasps the attention of her audience and leaves a positive and memorable impression. Her life motto, which she shares wholeheartedly with her patients, is to educate, encourage, inspire men, women, and youth to #Viva Life, starting with their health. When she's not helping her patients, Dr. Elmore is giving back to the community, serving as an advisory member of the Logan Heights Community Development Corporation in San Diego. She also participates in humanitarian surgical missions and global education. Our next guest speaker is Dr. Joseph Cummings. Dr. Cummings is a native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He attended Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was a member of the NROTC. In 1992, he received a Bachelor of Science in Biology, as well as a commission as an ensign in the U.S. Navy. Before going into medicine, he served as a surface warfare officer for approximately 2 to 3 years. Ultimately, he spent 27 years in the Navy and retired in 2019 as a commander. Dr. Cummings received his medical degree from Meharry Medical College, Nashville, Tennessee in 1998. Then he completed a transitional year internship at D.D. Eisenhower Army Medical Center, Augusta, Georgia, and his obstetrics and gynecology residency at Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, Virginia. Dr. Cummings served several tours as an obstetrician gynecologist in the United States and overseas, holding various department and command leadership roles. He was also a teaching faculty in his last 9 years in the Navy, teaching OBGYN and family practice residents. After graduating, Dr. Cummings received designation as an undersea medical officer. UMOs are diving medical officers and are the doctors for Navy divers, submariners, and Navy SEALs. In addition, they are the Navy's experts on diving and hyperbaric medicine. He completed 2 tours of duty with the submarine fleet as a junior and senior officer. In his senior tour, Dr. Cummings was the group medical officer for Commander Submarine Group 9, where he was responsible for the medical readiness of all of the U.S. ballistic missile and guided missile submarines in the Pacific Fleet, as well as the care of a patient population that included over 3,000 sailors. Since retirement, Dr. Cummings has worked in Northern and Southern California with several hospital systems as an OBGYN. He has also continued as a teaching faculty, teaching residents in the art of practicing obstetrics and gynecology, and doing philanthropic work in the San Diego community with local organizations he is affiliated with and his church. Lastly, we have Dr. Samira Jones. Dr. Samira Jones is a registered dietitian nutritionist with a master's degree in public health and Doctor of Philosophy degree in nutritional biology. Dr. Jones has over 12 years of extensive work experience in nutrition, in community nutrition, clinical nutrition, and nutrition education with an emphasis in developing culturally diverse nutrition education programs. Dr. Jones has worked in multiple settings of healthcare from public to private, as well as in academia. She has publications on topics ranging from community health nutrition, nutrition education, and nutrition and chronic disease prevention. And she is a member of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, National Organization of Blacks in Dietetics and Nutrition, the California Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and other local nutrition and public service organizations. Dr. Jones owns a nutrition consulting company called Sunshine Nutrition for Health Enterprises.
Thank you. To read a special poem for us, please welcome Divine James.
Hello. Today I'm going to be reading a poem called Lands to Fuse, Mother to Son. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor. There. All the time, it's been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark. Where there ain't been no light, so boy, don't you turn back. Don't leave that down on the steps. Cause you find it's kind of hard. You don't fall down now, for it's still going, honey. It's still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
To lead our discussion this evening, please welcome Dr. Wilkerson, who will provide the keynote address, followed by a panel discussion.
Thank you, ladies. Good evening, and thank you for the invitation to speak to this wonderful audience. Again, my name is Dr. Rashad Wilkerson. I am a board certified gastroenterologist, and I am here to talk to you about what it is to get to this point, the stages you have to go through. and the things to expect and how to develop yourself. But I'm going to start with my experience. I asked Miss James to read that poem, primarily because that is a poem that has always stuck in my mind since the days of college, since I pledged my fraternity. And most days I think about that poem and reflect on that, to sit there and tell myself, at no time should you ever stop, no matter how hard it is. To start off, my career began actually before high school. And I tell a lot of people that I've mentored, your career will begin prior to high school. Your career will begin when you hit your freshman year in high school. That's something I didn't realize back then. That is the point where you begin to earn those credits, those grades that will get you to the point of getting accepted into the school or university the college or university that you want to be accepted into. When I was in high school, I started at a lower level in my high school. And I said, I don't really feel like I belong at this level. So I worked hard and got to a higher level. But when I graduated, my GPA was not that as high as it should have been, because I just enjoyed high school. That being said, when I applied to college, my first application, the place I wanted to go primarily was Morehouse. And they gave me a conditional acceptance. And I said, I don't know. I also applied to Howard University and did not get accepted there. I did get accepted to Xavier University after doing a SOAR program the summer before, which was really enriching because at that point in time, they taught me things that I did not know that I needed to know to prepare myself for college, i.e. the critical thinking skills, the understanding of the vocabulary that is being taught to you. So when I got to Xavier, I was like, hey, great, I'm here. It is and is known for being number one for putting African Americans into medical school. We were building ourselves back up to that, but for at least, I think 20 years running, we were number one for an extended period of time. When I got to Xavier, it was a different story, and you will find this out. You will find that when you reach a certain point after you graduate from college, you've reached another level of responsibility. You have transitioned into a completely different world. No longer are you in a place where your mom and dad are going to possibly tap you on your shoulder or force you to get your work done. This is all on you. So I did not have the skills those first 2 years that I was in college. And surprisingly, my parents let me stay at college. I truly enjoyed myself. My first year in college, I think I had a 2.1 GPA. Unlike many of my friends who had 3.5s, 3.8s, Dr. Elmore, who was, I think, a year behind me, one of those exceedingly smart people that had almost a 4.0, if not a 4.0. And I was one of those people who truly struggled to understand what it was to study, to learn, and not just to study and learn to understand, so that when it was time to apply myself and apply that knowledge, I would get the A's that I truly desired. So going to college and not having that skill set hurt me, but I learned. I never let anything stand in my way. And that is one of the key things that I want to impress upon you. One of the key things that poem that was stated earlier, you do not let anything stand in your way, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tough the scenario may be, no matter how many times you may fail. And trust me, I'm one that has failed plenty of times, but I still get up and I still move forward. Graduating Xavier with a 2.77 GPA is not something I don't brag about that at all. Many of the people I surround myself with and who I enjoy the company of have graduated with more scholastic honors than I've ever had. Yet it did not stop me. And at no point should something of that nature stop you. I had a dream, not to quote Dr. King, since I was 5 years old, to be a physician. I had nothing else that presented itself in my life that I had any interest in, but I also enjoyed life. So while I'm traveling this journey to becoming a physician, I fully enjoyed my life, trust me, but I had to learn what it is to be measured. I had to learn what it is to be disciplined. I had to learn what it was to learn for me and not judge myself as harshly as I used to because I was not meeting the standards of others. I had to meet my own standard and then surpass it the way I learned. When I graduated from Xavier, I finally got to the point where, hey, I really don't know how to get into medical school. So, going to Merck Research Laboratories, it was a builder for me. It was a career builder. It was a foundational point that gave me a boost to help me get into medical school. I actually did a post-baccalaureate program too, which was recommended. And that is kind of a pathway I'll talk about in a few to get into medical school. Because I figured out how I learned, not how other people learn, which is key again. I sat plenty of days, all day long. I would read, I would get up, I would write on a chalkboard. It was a chalkboard. They didn't have dry erase boards posted in this room that I used to study in. And I would literally read, study most of the day, and then I would ask myself, what did I just learn? And I would write that down over and over again. I would prepare myself. I got a 3.8, I think it was a 3.8 GPA in my post-baccalaureate program. I got into every medical school I wanted to get into after I applied. From that point, I had to convince myself I was worthy of being in medical school because I had compared myself to so many people that found it easier to learn, who had 4.0s and did all the other things I did, would still achieve. And I would beat myself up for, why couldn't I do what they do? They make it so easy. I just did not have that skill set. And so I had to overcome myself to get to the point of saying, hey, I can do this. And I did the work. I got through medical school, did well. I passed all my boards the first time. Ultimately, once I transitioned into the Navy, I had to learn a whole nother subset of responsibilities. Again, as you transition into new roles in your life, you have to realize that at that point, your success is ingrained in how you guide yourself. To briefly quote Colin Powell, he said, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation. It is the result of hard work and learning from failure. And that is also key to what I teach everyone. You should never condemn yourself for not reaching a goal or for not succeeding when you thought you were to succeed. You are where you are because that is where you're supposed to be. Some people will say God puts you in a place that you're supposed to be so that you can learn how to be better and potentially help someone else. And that is how I always guided myself. Things that I will offer to you that I learned during those first 8, maybe 12 years of my life. One, be humble. That's the first piece of advice I want to give you through this. Humility is huge. As a teenager, there was no humility in Rashad Wilkerson. I fought everybody tooth and nail. If my parents told me to do something, I was like, nope. If my mom said do something, nope. If my friend said, hey, let's go do something that made sense, I was like, let's do something that doesn't make sense. So as a only child, the person that my parents invested everything into, I realize now as a parent that that wasn't the smart thing to do. You have nothing but humility and should learn humility and honor your parents, because those are the first people that should and will guide you to success. That is your first step in your foundation outside of your spirituality. The next thing I will tell you is do not just rely on yourself. I did that for a very long time. You always think you are the one to overcome. You are the one that can do better than everybody else, but I can do it on my own. No one achieves success on their own. Anyone successful will tell you that. You achieve success by learning from others, by surrounding yourselves who are just as successful as you want to be. Those people who will sow into you or invest into you the things that you need investing into you so that you can be accomplished. Remember, the hard work portion is different for everyone. I had to work harder than my counterparts to get a B. There are others who don't have to do anything at all to get an A. And that's just simple. But when it comes to accepting what life brings, if you're one of those people who have worked hard, failed a couple of times, and then you finally make it, but you fail a couple of times again, and then you make it again, you're probably going to be the person that's going to be a lot more driven than the person who's used to succeeding at every step in the way. And then finally, they fail. Those people sometimes have the hardest time learning to get back up and move forward. So take your points of failure as points of growth. Take them with advice. Make sure you get the advice that you need and surround yourself with the people that will help you grow through those failures. Things that I learned in college. Surround yourself with people that you want to keep around you for the rest of your life. That is so important. I think going to HBCU, I will tell you, there is no shortage of Xavier University family. Dr. Elmore will tell you that. I came to California and said, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna say like I typically say, oh, shoot, Kelly's here. All right, I'm gonna give Kelly a call. Called up Kelly. Oh, I didn't realize that we had another Xavier graduate that was at the same place that we work. Great, wonderful. We all connect. And you know what? There are other Xavier graduates here, but it's not just Xavier graduates. If you find another person that goes to another HBCU, there is a connection there that you just don't understand right now. That is family, true family. And I cannot express what that is. Even if they go to a HBCU and they're Greek too, that is a whole different level of just connection and love that you have for each other, regardless of what fraternity you're in, regardless of what HBCU you went to. There's a support network there that will help you move forward. That support network is there no matter who you are or what you are. Leading into that, I will say this: as you transition from one point of your life to another point of your life, you're always going to come across roadblocks. Those roadblocks are going to be people that don't like you because you don't sound like they want you to sound. Maybe you don't dress appropriately. Maybe you are just African American, female, whatever the case may be. Do not let your outward appearance, do not let who you are stifle your progress in life. That is so very important. I had a young man that went to Xavier, Akinyele Lovelace. I think Kelly, Dr. Elmore knows Akinyele. And I remember I went to Xavier, I was recruiting for Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine where I went to school. And we sat down, he had dreads at the time. He said, Rashad, I'm ready about my dreads. Are they going to judge me because of your dreads? And I looked at him, I said, you know what? This is what I want you to do. The school that you want to go, preparation, remember, preparation. He had the grades, preparation. when you go to your medical school interviews, I want you to walk in there with your suit and tie. Make sure your shirt is tight around your neck. Make sure that your tie is tied right. You go in there, you articulate who you are and what you're about, the reasons why you want to attend medical school, and then walk out of the interview as if you are choosing the school and they are not choosing you, as in they are privileged to have you there rather than the school, you being privileged to go to the school. You have to have an air of confidence. Kelly actually got accepted to the same medical school I went to and is now a successful physician that lives in Texas. And I'm happy I gave him that advice. We need you to be who you are and stand on the foundation that you were born into to be the success that you were meant to be. Before I get into the military, I'm going to talk about small things that really matter. One, have fun. No matter what you do, have fun. Always keep a smile on your face. Never invest so much of your ego into your work that you lose yourself as well. That is key. A lot of people will invest themselves so much in their work that they actually lose all of themselves if one thing falls apart. I've been there. You don't want to do that. Colin Powell said, everything is going to be better when you wake up in the morning. And it is. You wake up in the morning, you have peace. It's another day. Nobody died. You're fine. You can recover. So never invest so much of yourself that you lose who you are in that project that you're involved in. But while you're going through these stages of maturity, please, please, please enjoy every aspect of your life. Work hard and play hard is something that you should live by, but you have to put the work in to achieve the level that you want to achieve. In my early career as a physician, it was very challenging. I will tell you, going from a HBCU, which has all the African-American support you want, it supports who you are and what your family has taught you, into an all white environment was very difficult for me. I did not know how to transition. In fact, thankfully, I came across a number of people who who invested in me as I invested in them. We became our own support group. So when you enter a professional realm, find those areas that allow you comfort, but also allow you to grow. When you transition from one point in your life to another, there's going to be difficulty in change, but you have to adapt to that change to be the better person. What do I mean? Well, let's talk about adaptability just briefly. Key, let me know if I'm running very short on time. As you transition through life, the one constant, the one thing that will always be the same is change. You have to learn how to roll with the waves, roll with the punches. You have to learn how to integrate yourself in many different environments, whether it be the professional environment, whether it be the street environment, whether it be somebody from New Orleans, New Jersey, California, white, Black, Hispanic, it doesn't make a difference. You have to learn how to change or adjust to your various environments. One of the things that was always told to me was know your audience, know who you're speaking to, so that when you are speaking, you can clearly communicate what you are saying to that audience. If I'm speaking to someone in the military or one of my colleagues, I tend to use this voice. I tend to be very professional. If I'm talking to somebody from the street, it's a whole different story. My accent will come out. I'm talking to my boys, it's the same thing. If I'm talking to my frat brothers, a different person, I adjust. But you have to learn how to make those adjustments depending on the environment that you're in. You cannot show everybody all of who you are all the time, because that will turn people away. It will turn people off. It can scare people away who are not used to making those adjustments. but be proud that you can do that, because many of us cannot. My experience in residency, it was a long one. You had to study all the time, and residency was different back then. I stayed up late hours. I would fall asleep writing notes. There was a lot to learn during my residency program. During internship, it was the same way. You have internship before you get to residency. And as a physician, now I get to kind of enjoy the fruits of those labors. I get to sit and talk to my patients and really communicate with them the way I've always wanted to communicate with everybody, so that they can get the benefit of me being their physician, and I can get the benefit of them being getting better. Moving on, my career today consists of me doing more administrative work than it is being a physician. I kind of help those around me get the money, get the support they need to actually take care of patients. I actually am moved to help people deploy to different places in the United States. I actually help patients come into our facility, get them where they need to be, and kind of adjust, what I call adjust fire, or make changes to make sure that no matter how hard it is, people can get care delivered to them the way they need to. It's a struggle to do it sometimes, and most days you walk away with a slight headache, but I will tell you, I do what I do because it's fun. And that's one of the other things that you have to remember. As you transition through these years, things I will tell you is, one, you're not seeking a job right now. You're not seeking money. What you're seeking is happiness in a career you enjoy. So you're seeking happiness in a career you enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna say it differently. You're going to seek a career that you find nothing but pleasure in, that you can wake up no matter how hard the day is the day before, and you're still excited to go to work. Money will come, friends will come, friends will go. The hard times will pass, but it will make you better and it will make you stronger. Those are the things that I was taught, and those are the things that I aspire to now, and I teach my children. With that, I will close out again with another quote from Colin Powell, and I'm using Colin Powell a lot primarily because I'm going through one of his books, is, prepare now for who you will become. Once you become who you think once you reach that stage, it's too late to prepare once you reach that stage. So prepare now for the stage that you want to reach. I'm going to close out there. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Ms. Key, are we going to be saving it till the very end, or are we going to be asking them throughout the speakers?
Right now, we're going to, you can ask Dr. Wilkerson some questions real briefly, and then we will move to the panel.
Okay. So my one question for you, Dr. Wilkerson, is throughout your journey, how did you stay authentically yourself?
I chose to stay authentically myself. That's a choice. So things that people don't know about me, I grew up I'm middle class, and growing up, I honestly chose to go places my parents would have not been happy that I went to. Back in the day, there's the projects. I went to the projects, I hung out. I chose to associate myself with people from different backgrounds too. People that did undesirable things per se that I will not comment on, but I actually hung out with a great number of people from various backgrounds. It's just, it is what it is. Because I did that, I always remember that I continuously choose to associate myself with various people who come from different walks of life that will add into me the positive things, the things that I feel that I need to be the person I need to be. And as I've grown through my profession, I've held on to that because it allows me to relate to everyone I meet in a manner that allows them to buy into me being their advisor as far as their health is concerned. It allows me to advise youth in the direction that they should go. And most importantly, it helps me guide my children down the path that they should go as well. So that is a choice. And I choose that path primarily because of the people that I grew up around, the people who I call friend, the people I love till this day from high school until now. And that's always been who I've been. Trust me, there's people on this call that can say that is very true.
Okay.
Okay, Catherine.
Yes, I have a quick question. Thank you, Dr. Wilkerson, for sharing the information that you had, your journey and what it has been. In terms of preparation, what guidance would you give undergraduates and undergraduate who's interested in medicine? But throughout those 4 years, did you seek research opportunities or enrichment opportunities? What did you do from year to year through your undergraduate years to prepare yourself to achieve the things that you have? Mm-hmm.
Things that you should do once you hit undergrad. Of course, everyone is going to say get as close to a 4.0 GPA as possible, but that is not all that that is not your complete foundation. So depending on the career path that you choose depends on what you want to do, of course. If you want to become a lawyer or a physician, teacher, whatever the case may be, once you hit maybe about halfway through your first semester, you really start to, probably sooner than that, you really need to start looking into summer programs, whether they internships, clerkships, sometimes just shadowing to get your foot in the door. Networking is huge once you become a undergraduate student. Okay. So there always are outlets for you. There are places for you to go, whether it be a counselor. Xavier had Dr. Carmichael, who was the man as far as getting us into whatever summer programs we needed to get into to make us the most competitive to get into medical school. So summer internships, clerkships, working for pharmaceutical companies during the summertime, even if you're working in the lab at the school, that is huge because it allows them to know you, get your recommendations for college, and move forward from there. Even if you don't do that during the school year, you can actually seek out whether it be job opportunities or volunteer opportunities that will make you more competitive. Again, that does not apply just to the field of medicine. That is any field that you want to go into. You have to actively seek these opportunities because it will not be given to you.
Thank you very much. That's very good.
You're welcome. Key, would you like to move on to the panel discussion? All right, so I'm going to kind of get a little bit more relaxed and we're going to start asking some questions of our panelists. Are you guys ready? These are the rules that I will set. 1, ladies first. And that is it. All right, so let's jump right into this. Let's see. Dr. Elmore, of course. Actually, for all 3 panelists, I'm going to start with this this first question. What was your experience attending an HBCU? And what was your major, and how did you decide what to do or what to major in? Dr. Elmore, I am going to start with you, please.
So first of all, thank you so much, Urban League, for allowing us to be here. Dr. Wilkerson, that was truly inspirational. So thank you very much. I, like you, knew since I was the age of 5 years old that I wanted to be a physician. I knew probably about the age of 7 that I wanted to be an OBGYN. I say all the time, it was like being called to the pulpit because I did not know a physician. I did not know an OBGYN, definitely. And as far as going to an HBCU, what happened was a friend of mine from high school had come back from Xavier after his first year and just talked about how amazing Xavier was. And I got the pamphlet, the book in the mail. This is, before computers and everything. We're sending out any information. I got the pamphlet in the mail and I read it, and it said #1 for putting African-American students into medical school. And I said, and that's the school that I need to go to. So I literally applied to, I believe, 3 schools. I took my PSATs in my junior year. They gave me a partial scholarship in I believe it was the beginning of my senior year, applied, and that's how I ended up at Xavier, sight unseen. And it has been the most rewarding, the best experience of my absolute life. I did meet Dr. Wilkerson there at Xavier, and so many other people, pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Gamma Alpha Chapter, and between those 2 things, my life has been set. As far as my major, like he said, Dr. Carmichael, essentially when you go to Xavier, especially if you go to a summer program, the summers before or right before you start college, I started out in the Howard Hughes summer program. We started with college credits the summer before. And then we went straight into the pathway or the train. I hopped on the Xavier train and got off at the University of Chicago. He had everything laid out for us, told us what to do between every summer. We were writing essays the moment we got into Xavier about our admissions essay to get into medical school, studying for the NCAT, which is a prerequisite in order to go to medical school. I knew he told you were going to be a major in biology, chemistry, or something like that if you wanted to be a doctor, and you could minor in biology, chemistry, or psychology. And so, yeah, I majored in biology, minored in chemistry, loved my English and philosophy and psychology classes. And like I said, applied to the University of Chicago, got a scholarship from the military, and which paid for the University of Chicago. So over $100,000. I was not in debt, and then went from there. So if I can tell people anything, go to a HBCU at some point in your career.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Elmore. Dr. Jones, you're up next. Again, I'll repeat the question. What was your experience attending an HBCU? And was your major, and what was your major, and how did you decide on what to major in?
Okay.
Oh, okay. So,
I'll tell you.
oh, I'm sorry. Should I go or go? You want to go, Dr. Cummings?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. Please.
No, it's fine.
I thought he said Dr. Cummings, but you go ahead, Dr. Jones. I'll come up last. I like that.
All right. Okay. Well, hi, everybody. And I also want to say thank you to Ms. Keyhagen for this lovely opportunity to share my experience attending an HBCU, as well as just my whole career journey as a registered dietitian, because we are kind of few and far between in this country, but a very well-needed career. So I attended Florida A&M University, and my major was, I started out, so just like, Dr. Wilkerson kind of spoke about his history. Started out as a bio pre-med. I thought, I want to become a doctor. I like to work, in medicine. I did well in science courses. And so I was, still trying to figure it out. And then I said, well, I don't know, as I started learning more about medicine and, I actually, have friends who were bio pre-med majors, and I would do volunteer work. I thought, I don't know if that's really the way I want to go. So I started kind of venturing off to physical therapy. And I thought, okay, I like working with people. I like rehabilitation and helping folks. And so I decided my degree was going to be pre-physical therapy. So I actually have a Bachelor of Science degree in rehabilitation services. So that was that. And then I worked just a little bit of time at a hospital with that degree, and just, kind of felt like I wasn't really satisfied. It was just something more that I know I could do. And so I actually, spoke with people. I was still in Tallahassee, Florida, which is where Florida A&M is located, still in the area. So I was speaking with some of my old professors, and they had just started a master's in public health program. And so I said, so they, and that first year of the program, they had monies they had received from the federal government to provide scholarships to all of the students that were being admitted. So I was going, oh, wow, I could go back and, go to school and, pursue something different, master's in public health. This may be what I really kind of want to do. So I started talking to the professors. I went and spoke to the director of the program. And Dr. Harris, Cynthia Harris, she's also a Delta. So that was also, I would say, my first exposure to to Delta Sigma Theta. Not the first, but I got to know her, and I really wanted to become Delta after getting to know her. So long story short, I was accepted into that program. I earned my master's in public health. And after the program ended, I was admitted into a fellowship program at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So back just a little bit, Dr. Harris had come from, her name is Cynthia Harris, had come from CDC. She had a really big position at the CDC before she had moved to FAMU to start the public health program. So she had told all the students that they needed to apply to this fellowship and, what it would do for their career and how interesting it was. And I thought, oh, wow, this would be great. So, that was great, and just in hindsight, letting you guys know as students, try to partner yourself up with a mentor, for someone who is in a career path or area that you are, of course, interested in, because that would just really help you out. So long story short, I ended up moving to Atlanta, working at the Centers for Disease Control, and working in that position, in that fellowship role. I was traveling across the country, learning more about, public health, environmental public health, what else? Community health, how to reach out to different groups. And with that experience, it brought me rather to California to work with the California Department of Public Health on a environmental nutrition project. And that was a huge pivot for my life and my career, uprooted my family, my daughter and my ex-husband at the time. So we all moved to Oakland, California, the Bay Area. And I was working again with, like I said, the California Department of Public Health, but I was a CDC employee. So I was a federal employee, but working out there in Oakland. And wow, that was very, very eye-opening. We did a lot of on-the-ground work. The crux of the position dealt with talking to communities about fish consumption in the San Francisco Bay. So we needed to know something about nutrition. And I just realized like, oh, I'm talking to them. I know a little bit. I took a basic nutrition course, but I, really didn't feel like I was competent enough to answer the questions that they were asking. Why can't I eat the fish? We were talking about the contaminants, but fish is actually healthy. It has omega-3s and some other beneficial nutrients. And so I'm like, So within that process and time frame of working in the fellowship in Oakland, I would attend different board meetings, task force with different agencies and so forth. And so at one particular meeting, there were some University of California, Davis faculty from their nutrition department there. And I was leading the meeting, and I, had spoke to one of the professors had, approached me, and she says, oh, you were really great with the information. You really connected with the community. And I was like, yeah. And I had been contemplating, pursuing another degree. I don't know why, but I did, I'm like, I love learning. I won't say I don't know why. I just love learning. I'm being very transparent with you guys. So she and I talked, and she says, I have a grant that I wrote, and I'm looking for some students who may be interested in pursuing a doctorate in nutrition, if that's something you'd be interested in. And I said, yeah. And so at the time I was researching, like, what does it take to become a dietitian? Because that's a more hands-on career position. And so I was already doing that. And so then she approached me, and I go, so how can I marry the two? If I do pursue this PhD in nutrition, and really it's a philosophical degree in research, how can I also complete my dietetic, career path? So that's what I did. So I applied, I got into UC Davis, completed, of course, did the research, wrote the dissertation, learned a lot, did a whole lot of, networking. And in addition to that, I also took the courses for the registered dietitian program and then took that exam. So that's how I became a registered dietitian, as well as have the PhD in nutrition, which is more of a research degree. And I think, I'm sorry, I probably digressed a little bit on your question, Dr. Wilkerson, but just to go back, if you were asking about the HBCU thing, I would just say it was really hugely important that I connected with Dr. Harris at FAMU, and just again, I wrote this down. I wanted to say this to the students or the young people on the call. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Seek out these professors, these mentors, people who could potentially become mentors. I'm getting on a roll, and just don't be afraid. Really just be yourself and ask questions. That is just so important, because there's lots of money out there, lots of people who want to pay for you to go. You don't have to pay out of pocket. There are lots of grants and scholarships and TA-ships and so forth out there. So there's something that you really want to do, or you're even not sure, maybe you want to do a volunteer experience for a little period of time just to see if there's something that you really want, do it. So at least you can say, okay, well, I tried that and that didn't really work out. Let me go with what my gut was, or what I really think I really want to do, try that out. And then as you get more comfortable and you start doing it and you feel like it's easier for you to do, then that's really where you should go and be. So I don't know. That's my story.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you for that.
Right,
Dr. Cummings, you are up next, my friend.
Can you repeat the question one more time, my brother?
One more time. All right. What was your experience attending an HBCU, and what was your major, and how did you decide what to major in?
Okay. So I'll start with my road to get there kind of really quick, just like you all. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's in the South. Very different from California as far as demographics, if you will, and politics. Call a spade a spade. I went to a prep school in Baton Rouge. There were 100 students in my class and 2 were Black. About 300 to 400 students in my whole high school and 9 were Black. That's a real prep school in Louisiana. So it was called Episcopal High School. And they, prepared me academically to be successful in life. But I really didn't know myself at that time. All I saw, and then I went to Catholic school before that from kindergarten to 8th grade. And so all I saw was people that didn't look like me. And my mother realized that. And she told me that I could not go to a PWI. So she was like, there's a lot of schools you can go to. You can go to Xavier. You can go to Southern University if you want to. Hampton, Howard, Morehouse, wherever you want to go, but you're not going to a PWI. Because she realized that, she was very intelligent and hardworking, but she was a single mother. So, there wasn't a lot of, I had all my family around me. My mother is the oldest of 8 kids, but, it's just regular family dynamics. Oh, PWI means predominantly white institution, like UCLA or Harvard or Yale or Stanford. So sorry. But I was going, my thoughts were I was going to Colorado, University of Colorado. I wanted to ski. I was going to go to the school with my best friend. He went to Baylor. I was going to go to Millsaps. That's a real prestigious, college in Mississippi. So no no thoughts to actually going to a HBCU at all. But my mother said her money was going to the HBCU. So, and she was a pretty stern disciplinarian, you know, when I was growing up. So if my mother said she was gonna kill me, I believed it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to this HBCU. So which one now? So one of my really good friends was a year ahead of me, and he went to Morehouse College, and I went to visit and him for like there's like these student kind of recruiting visits that you can go on for like a week, and you can actually stay on campus with you know, in the dorms, and you get to experience the whole life of Morehouse College. And that's what I did. And then I was like, man, I got to go to Morehouse, you know? So, and then I ended up getting a scholarship, you know, several. One was for ROTC. So I was in ROTC in college. Shoot, I was in ROTC in high school too. So I actually spent almost 31 years wearing a uniform. So a long time, you know, dedicating myself to the military. But the great thing is that, I mean, I graduated college and then medical school with, you know, zero debt pretty much. So something that you really need to think about, because, you know, when you go to, you know, other schools that like you go to USC, it's 80,000, Vanderbilt, 70,000. I mean, even if you go to UCLA or San Diego State, you may get loans, and you may think that it takes $10,000 or $20,000 is nothing to pay off. But what happens is you're gonna wait and not pay it. You're gonna put it in forbearance. You're gonna hold off, and then it's gonna grow. And people spend their whole lifetimes paying off $10,000 or $20,000, $30,000. You know what I mean? Because sometimes your job doesn't equate to the amount of money that you took as a loan. So really think about that. But the other thing about the HBCU is, I mean, I went to this prep school. I mean, I'm like super smart, you know what I mean? I thought I was, but I wasn't the smartest person. I was not. They had people from Georgia, from California, Pennsylvania, all over the world. And there were brothers who were smarter than me. You know what I mean? So, hey, I had to take a step back, you know what I mean? And say, hey, I'm not the smartest, you know, Black guy here. You know what I mean? So I had a lot more respect for Morehouse at that point. And then, you know, once I left Morehouse, then I noticed that, you know, Morehouse is the Harvard of the South, but, you know, we only have males at our school. And Martin Luther King went to my school. I slept in his dorm. There's a lot of history. It goes really far back with my college. So, but any HBCU that don't forget that when you choose your colleges, don't forget the HBCUs. I mean, my son goes to Morehouse now, and he's doing really well. And I'm like, did you make the highest grade on the test? And he's like, no, there are about 3 or 4 people better than me. So, I mean, he went to prep school, not prep school, but he went to Scripps Ranch High School here. But, you know, listen, the preparation is here. You prepare for it. When you go to the HBCU, you know, Xavier, Howard, Morehouse, Hampton, FAMU, you know what I mean? There are going to be individuals there that are just as intelligent as you. They chose HBCUs for similar reasons, or maybe they're, you know, legacies or whatever, and their parents wanted them to go. But it is a great opportunity for you to excel. And if you really want to be in medicine, well, I was a biology major, sorry, at Morehouse, and I was in ROTC, so almost like another major in itself, 42 extra hours to actually graduate and be commissioned. So I didn't have a minor, you know what I mean, but I had to work out and do things, you know, in the ROTC. But great experience, kind of teach you leadership and all that. And, you know, you kind of grow with people really quickly when you're in groups like that, like the ROTC. But so once how I decided to be a biology major, I just really wanted to first help people, and didn't really know if I wanted to be a doctor or not, but made that decision maybe maybe my sophomore or junior year, and really wanted to serve my country too. So I was a surface warfare officer first, and went out to the fleet, but at the same time, I really had many aspirations of being a doctor. So I applied and they, and they even let me go, which was, they don't do that anymore though. But yes, sir. What else, what other questions were there? What I want y'all not to forget, just to keep it short, is that you still get a great experience at a HBCU. We will still prepare you for medicine, and actually the things that are really important is that you have leadership, research, and community service. I work with a lot of young doctors, medical students and doctors, and everyone is super smart, right? So you need to do well. But these are the 3 areas that they say that medical schools are now looking at. And the other thing is, I am a really good friend with a recruiter for a, medical school that's a PWI. And he actually said that he recruits at HBCUs for Black students. He doesn't go to PWIs to recruit Black people. He goes to Xavier and Morehouse and Spelman and Hampton and FAMU. So remember that also. And that's my answer to the first question.
Thank you, Dr. Cummings. All right, everybody, we're coming up on the hour mark. I'm going to ask that we keep the rest of the answers to the questions as short and concise as possible. Moving right along, are there any things you would recommend getting involved in at this point in time, and or once you're in college? Dr. Jones, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay, I'm sorry, my mute. Yeah, I would suggest joining, organizations that align with what your interests and goals are. If there's a pre-medicine club, a bio pre-med club, or, that if you want to become a doctor, join that club, surround yourself with other like-minded kids, students your age, and, you guys do activities and, programs. You have a mentor or sponsor or I'm sorry, a counselor advisor on campus, and start, you do volunteer work in the community and start really getting to see what it's like to be in that field. So I guess that would be my suggestion, join those types of organizations. I think also just the humility part that you mentioned, Dr. Wilkerson, is very important when you're, if you want to become a human services person, so a person that is going to be working with others, you need to have those skills. So that's what I would suggest.
Thank you, Dr. Elmore.
Yes, I'm just going to focus a little bit on kind of San Diego, the community, because I know a lot of people from here. So I think it's really important to get involved in your fraternity and sorority program. So whether it's through Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, we have all 9 here, our fraternities as well. So Omega Psi Phi, because a lot of them already have programs that are set up for your children to do. And they start as young as, I believe, 5, 6 years old in some programs. So really important there. I would get involved in the Jackie Robinson YMCA. There is a health fair that goes on there every one Wednesday out of the month. That's led by Dr. Aflalo, who is a family practitioner who has retired from Kaiser. And she hosts this every month along with another counterpart and a colleague of hers. And several of the healthcare systems actually go there and provide services. So you'd be able to volunteer there, and then you would be able to meet those people that are actively involved in the medical schools as well as the healthcare system. The other thing I would recommend is making sure that you're applying for scholarships or internships that are around the world, really. So if you see something like right now, the fraternities and sororities and Delta Sigma Theta, like I said, has a scholarship that's available. Apply for those scholarships. I was also a debutante here. Poor as I don't know what my mother's dream was for me to be a debutante, but that was that was a platform for me to get involved. So I would definitely say your volunteer work is very important, making sure that you get a mentor. And remember, if you ask a doctor to help you, they will help you. However, they have very constrained time constraints, so it'll be very focused on what they do. And then also all over social media, there's Project Diversify Medicine. You can go to the different HBCU or medical schools websites, social media pages, and start just direct messaging people and to find out, how do I get involved? How do I move forward? And how do I become successful in my career choice?
Excellent.
All right, Dr. Cummings.
Sorry, what's the question again, sir?
Are there things you would recommend getting involved in now or once you get into college?
Oh yeah, I would second what Dr. Elmore said, and just continue to ensure that you're kind of getting a broad experience in high school and college. I mean, you have to do community service. You have to be a leader. Which can be an athlete or maybe in some club, but just make sure you diversify yourself and have leadership and community service, and then when you get to college, continue to do those things, because I mean, you can have a 4.0 and do well on the SAT and they'll put you on the wait list simply because they're looking for a more comprehensive student. You know what I mean? So I experienced that with my oldest son. So just know that you don't have to have a 4.0. Like UCLA is a perfect example. They want you to have above a 3.8, but just because you have that, you still need to have a diverse experience. So become a leader, do something, do your community service, all those things are very important.
All right, thanks, Dr. Cummings. One of the things that I definitely want to ask is, money is always an issue when we start talking about finances. Is huge when we talk about higher education. So what resources did you use to pay for your college or for college? Are there any military opportunities that help? I'm going to start this off with Dr. Cummings this time, and then we will move to the ladies. Dr. Cummings.
Yes, like I said, I was in ROTC, so I mean, my mother, struggled just to give me the Morehouse, you know what I mean? So I was able to get a scholarship through the Navy, and then, some more money to help me pay for room and board and all that. But if you don't want to be in the military, there's other avenues that you can, try to get funds from, like Dr. Elmore was saying. And then, once you get through college, don't forget, the military. Once you actually graduate to pay for medical school, you might have to do 4 or 5 years, but you won't have a $400,000 bill or, $300,000 bill, that'll be waiting for you once you, get your MD or DO degree. So just, just really think about it, and maybe be in the Army. There's a lot more diversity there, and generals, flag officers that look like us, so maybe think about that too as an option. But I know this is a Navy town and we have Marines here too, but really think about, something like the Army, where, you may see a lot more general officers than we have in the Navy and in the Marine Corps. So.
Excellent.
Before I'm gonna transition to one of the other ladies, but one of the things I will say is, if you are, regardless of, if you go to an HBCU and you are not Black, you probably will be able to get a minority scholarship at that HBCU. So that is another plug to go to an HBCU and get an awesome education that rivals those other places. One of the other things I will say before I continue on is, To the students on here, please do not limit yourself to just the California area. The entire United States has much to offer you from life experience. So be mindful not to put all your eggs in one basket and stay in a place that makes you comfortable. Sometimes you have to learn how to be uncomfortable before you become comfortable with what the world truly has to offer. Dr. Elmore, I'm going to go to you next. What resources did you use to pay for college? Are there any military opportunities that you used while you were in college?
So I'll start off saying that every single penny that I got from any family member for Christmas, Easter, summer, whatever they gave it, it went into a bank account. So right then and there, that's your first savings. To the point where when I showed up to college, I had a friend that couldn't pay for the second semester of college, and I was able to give him a couple of $1,000s. And I didn't have that much, but I said, you know what, you're my best friend. We're gonna come back here together because we're both gonna be doctors. And so we were able to pay for my semester and his semester. He did pay me back though, and he helped me get my first house. So that is a good investment. So I would say save every penny, 10% to God or your higher power, your church, whatever that is, and make sure 80% goes into your savings account, preferably an investment account. So start buying those stocks now, and then 10% to yourself to have fun. The second and third thing to pay for college, that's what I did. I also made sure, the reason why Dr. Wilkerson, I had to get a 4.0 is because I had no money besides what I had saved. So I needed to get that scholarship like Daryl Rubin did when I saw him stand up there. And so I got a scholarship that helped with my partial scholarship. And also while you're in college, get a job. So there's plenty of work studies that you can do. Get a job that I worked in the computer lab before anybody really knew about computer labs. So was one of the first people to do web development for my school. Had I stayed in that, I would have, we would have canceled Christmas. So that's really important as well. And I'll be honest with you, I got EBT. So food stamps were a real thing in our HBCU, and there are a lot of us on food stamps, and it worked out great. All you had to do was work 20 hours a week, and I had no problem showing that EBT card to get my food. And then lastly, like I said, I joined the military through the Health Profession Scholarship Program. You can do that through public health. You can do that through the military. There's plenty of scholarships and grants, especially for people of color that want to go to medical school. We need you, we want you. So, do these things that we've talked about, and let's go, let's get it.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Elmore. Excellent advice. To dovetail off of that before I get to Dr. Jones, I think one of the key points, invest your money now. Not in a savings account, in an investment account. That's how you're going to make passive income now to pay for things later. Don't touch it. 5 years minimum. Don't touch it. All right, Dr. Jones, how can you help us with this question? What resources did you use to pay for college? And did you use any, did you tap into the military at all? What were your resources?
No, I probably am the only one on this panel that didn't go the military route. And I'm the only non-medical doctor. So, I hope this is shining a light on other health professions, because that was kind of the goal here. Yeah, everyone's not going to be a doctor. So that's, I'm glad to be here. But yeah, I had the work study. I worked in the library, my sophomore year and my junior year, part of that. And then I worked in the gym. I just got various work study positions. And then as a graduate student, I was a TA, a teaching assistant. So I got all of that, help there, because they would waive the fees for your tuition if you're a teaching assistant. So I did that, and applied for all the grants that I could find, listened to my advisors and my mentors about different scholarship opportunities. I also had a side job because it wasn't enough to sustain me, all the, little scholarship stuff. So, I wanted to go to a movie or hang out sometimes. So I had a little side job at, I think, a yogurt shop. And where else? I've had little odds and end jobs. But yeah, I wasn't afraid to work. My grandmother always said, my father said that his father, which is my grandfather, he said, he wasn't very educated. He only had an 8th grade education, but he said, if you don't have a strong mind, you better have a strong back, because meaning you're going to have to work, and so he only had that level of education. But I know I don't want to try and have a strong back, I'm going to use my brain, but I wasn't afraid to work at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So moving on to the next question. Do any of you have any additional businesses or advocacy activities related to your career and health? If so, please share. Dr. Elmore, of course, you are going to be first up.
Yes, actually, like I said in the intro, I am the CEO of KOE Medical Consulting Incorporated, which essentially is an opportunity for me to provide my services to organizations as a consultant, and then also to provide my services to the community. As I said, the tagline is to educate, encourage, and inspire. However, my hashtag is Viva Life. And that means to help people spiritually, physically, financially, mentally, and emotionally live their healthiest and wealthiest life. And we do that through the Viva Life Health Hub. So the fact that I'm on here today my business allows me to do that. And yes, I still work full time for another organization, which I'm supremely proud of. But I am representing myself here today. So yes, I think having your own business is a wonderful thing. It doesn't have to be as a physician completely, like a private practice physician, which is great. But I always think that, when my organization told me a couple years ago that they may not be able to pay me my check, I was like, I will never not have multiple forms of income. So that's why I did that.
It is absolutely wonderful to see this type of strength in this forum. I cannot tell you guys how awesome that is. Thank you, Dr. Elmore. Dr. Jones.
Yes, as Dr. Elmore eloquently said, she is representing herself, and so am I, because I too have another career, and I work somewhere else, but I'm not representing them today. I'm representing myself, and I own my own personal nutritional consulting business, and it's very new. It's only been a couple years, so I'm still exploring various enterprises, but my goal is really just to bring the forefront of food and nutrition to a priority level, because, as we all know, or we're learning more about the importance of what we eat and how it affects our body and our health. So that's really, really my ultimate goal. I just want to see people healthy and knowing that food is information and everything you eat, your body is made of it. So just kind of understanding that relationship is so key. And so that's kind of what my business focuses on. Individual counseling, but I also do group counseling. I do all types of seminars and other things I won't get into, but I have a link to my business if you want to learn more. There you go. So, but it's important.
So that Dr. Jones actually helped me when I was overseas to help us with one program. She actually created my nutritional plan and became a part, we became partners in the whole Viva Life experience with her. And then she started her own company. So that's what we do. We collaborate, we help each other, and we help each other move forward. Over.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Cummings. Let's see. What do you have to add to this? Tell me.
I'm going to give a plug for Viva Life as my colleague, Dr. Elmore. We worked together for almost a year, and she would always grab me and say, let's go work out. I'm like, okay, let's go work out. It could be bands or whatever, but she was putting it on me, you know what I mean? But also, she's allowed me to participate in some of her events as a medical professional. So I'm giving a plug for Viva Life, hashtag Viva Life. She's excellent, and she does a lot of work in our community. I have formed a business. It's very smart to form a business. I really want to help veterans transitioning. It's just Hill Cummings Medical Group. That's me and my wife's name together. And hopefully I'll get that going. That's really the business that I've started now. And hopefully I'll be able to start to help veterans the way I really want to. And this is really important to me, especially when you see kind of the way we have a lot of homeless veterans here in San Diego. So a lot that we can do to help those men and women out. So that's my business.
What's the name of it again, Dr. Cummings?
Hill Cummings Medical Group, and my wife's first name is last name is Hill, her maiden name, sorry, and so it's our company together. So just trying to that's initially my thought is to help veterans, but I may branch out a little bit more with it, but that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Cummings. So kind of key point here, I'm gonna boil it down to the youth here, to anyone, please look up passive income. That is key.
Passive income.
Also, look up what it is to build generational wealth for these young people here, as those things are vitally important when you get to our age and you're sitting there saying, wow, I'm really tired of working this hard. I want to enjoy my life a whole lot more. Some of you will have children ranging from, I don't know, 18 to, no, I'm gonna not say 18, 15 maybe to 1, and you want to spend more time with your families, enjoy your life, enjoy your spouse. So having that passive income, meaning money that just comes to you because of the investments that you have made, real estate, stocks, whatever, is vitally important. I think all adults here would likely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Key, we have time for maybe one more question, do you think? Yes, ma'am. All right.
Let someone else go or?
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Go ask whatever question you would like to ask.
Okay, thank you. Well, on behalf of my grandson, who I know is on this call, so he's listening, grandmother. He's at Xavier University and he's majoring in biochemistry. And the question is, are any of the panelists still connected with Xavier? What's your connection now as mentors for students interested in medicine, so on and so forth? And I know they're hitting you for donations, so we won't ask about that. They want donors, alums who are donors for sure.
Okay, Dr. Elmore, since Xavier was mentioned, I'm going to ladies first.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Absolutely still involved. I mean, anytime we can get involved. So whether we go back to homecoming and we go in our, suited and booted and doing our recruiting and for the students, or we are extending ourselves through mentorship programs, whether it's through your fraternities and sororities, whatever people need from there. And then definitely making sure that we give back. We're always donating. Yes, Xavier asks you for money all the time, and I'm so happy to donate. We donate to a lot of different things, but I definitely donate to my my undergraduate school because it's absolutely the best. We want to continue to produce the #1 students in the world for whatever they to do, and they have all the majors there. So absolutely, we have to support our school, and we do it all the time.
Wonderful, thank you.
Dr. Jones, can you give your input on this question, please?
Can you repeat the question?
Ma'am, can you?
Or just involvement in your undergraduate institution, HBCU, what connections do you have? How are you giving back, so to speak, to your institution that you started out in?
Yeah, so I would just ditto everything that Dr. Elmore mentioned. I go to the homecomings. I try to go as often as I can. And it's funny, I had a conversation with one of my colleagues. She's also a soror at UC Davis. When I was pursuing my PhD, she went into a PhD in psychology, and she attended Harvard and Berkeley. And so she says, oh, I never go to homecomings. I never, she attended all PWI institutions, but I
Yeah.
feel if I don't go back to homecoming at FAMU, I mean, I just feel like part of my life is missing because it was so enriching for me, you know, and just you feel like a part of the family, and they really have your best interests at heart. So I will just say that, you know, I always, you know, have like a meeting when I go there with the public health school. And I just try and do as much as I can with, you know, talking to students about my career path and any resources I could provide that way.
Right, yeah.
Dr. Cummings.
Yes, sir. So I'm a member of the Greater San Diego chapter of Morehouse Alumni Association. We recruit here for students, and we participate in mentorship programs, tutoring, you know, the gamut. You know, actually, our president of our association here was the Morehouse Alumni Alumni of the Year due to our chapter and the work that we do. And we have four young men from the San Diego area who we know, 5 now, that we have at Morehouse, including my son. So we recruit and send men to Morehouse, and we support them and we mentor them. That's how we give back. And obviously I try to make it to homecoming also when I can, but you know, living all over the world and working as an OBGYN, it could be very tough. And our Morehouse man, Alumni of the Year for Morehouse was Lamar Slater. Yes, so I see a question in the chat. So he was the Alumni of the Year last year due to the work that we do in the San Diego area.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you, Dr. Cummings. One of the things that I will bring up, which all of the participants, with the exception of the younger students, know, because there is a question about your experience on campus, things of that nature. So homecoming, I think, for our HBCUs is huge. It is a way to reconnect from times when we were younger, and to be young again. It is a time where we actually, quote unquote, get it in. We dance, we party, we do all the stuff that you young people do now, but I would probably say we do it a lot better. And it is a time to communicate and really get back to basics and where we came from, and remind us why we do what we do and how much we've enjoyed the lives that we have developed and truly be blessed to have. Again, we wouldn't be here sometimes if it wasn't for each other, no matter what shape or form that took place. So at this point in time, I am going to bring this portion of the event to a close. I am going to, quote unquote, stand down. Key, do you have any closing remarks? Oh, I'm sorry. One, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to speak today, allowing me to be your moderator for this event. One of the last things I will say is I do want to offer my condolences to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta who recently lost their national president. I know that is a hard thing, and she was recently elected too. So I definitely want to give my heartfelt condolences to you ladies and your organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I turn it over to Key at this point. Thank you.
Key, there is one more question in the chat, and I think it's and so if
Yes, it's one of our students. You want to answer it, Kelly?
Oh, well, so the question in the chat asks, how do you balance it all? So I would say those things that I mentioned before, your spiritual, physical, financial, mental, and emotional health and well-being is how you balance it. For me, it's God first, God always. And then comes myself, because you always have to take care of yourself, and then family, and then career and everything after that, and community. So community, country, and career. The other thing is meditation, journaling, and exercise. I tell you, if you get up in the morning or before you go to bed at night or sometime during the day, if you can meditate or pray, as well as write down your thoughts, create your vision boards. And then also the exercise is key, 45 minutes every other day. And watch what you're putting in your body. Like Dr. Jones says, your nutrition is your medicine. So all of those things, you do all those things, you will live a long, happy, prosperous life, minimize disease and cancer, and you will keep your spirit and your mind well and live your best life and be for life.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much. I want to thank all of the panelists. Thank you so much for doing this. I think that it was really some great information, great tips that our youth can use and our parents can use who are on the calls this evening. So thank you so, so much. We will be sending you thank yous for a while now. We are going to close tonight. And I want to thank all of the participants who were able to get on this evening and stay on. We still have 27 people on. We started off with a larger list earlier. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Wilkerson, for leading this discussion. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's
Outstanding.
absolutely
Thank you
my
all.
pleasure
This
and
is
my
just
privilege.
great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you, Key. Thank you.